Welcome back, brothers and sisters. I am Braden. This is Langley Outdoors Academy, the place where we not only talk about what's going on in the gun world, but also how we're going to fix it together. And the content that we're going to talk about today, if this doesn't make you smile as a gun rights advocate, check your pulse, you might be dead, because this is really funny. And everything, of course, we linked in the description box below, because it turns out that 98% of all the gun buybacks were a sham. Weird. Who would have seen that coming? Make sure you watch this whole video. Everything will be linked, as I mentioned. Make sure you leave a comment, send and share this one out, and of course, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn the notification bell on. Let's get it. Let's just jump in. All right. So as you know, guys, gun buybacks, the tool of leftist liberal organizers, leftist liberal politicians to really virtue signal and do something about the epidemic of gun violence across these streets of America. Turns out, it was all a big game. All right, check this out. The guns were said to be destroyed. Instead, they were reborn. This is coming from the New York Times. Communities across the U.S. are fueling a secondary arms market by giving seized and surrendered guns to disposal services that destroy one part and resell the rest. Now, if you guys know anything about this fight, you have a good idea of what they're destroying and what they're selling. Let's get into this further because, guys, this is gold. This is from December 10th, an expose by the New York Times. When Flint, Michigan announced in September that 68 assault weapons collected in a gun buyback would be incinerated, the city cited its policy of never reselling firearms. Virtue signal. Okay, well, let's just break this down. Let's just break it down and see what happened. But Flint's guns were not going to be melted down. Instead, they made their way to a private company that has collected millions of dollars, taking firearms from police agencies, destroying a single piece of each weapon, stamped with a serial number, and selling the rest as nearly complete gun kits. Buyers online can easily replace what's missing and reconstitute the weapon. This is what happens when you don't know about guns. This is what happens when you don't understand what you're meddling into, but you just want to do a virtue signal to say that you got all these guns off the street. By the definition of an actual existing legal framework, the gun is the serialized part. You can ask the ATF. That's the point. A barrel, a handguard, an optic, a grip, a spring, a buffer tube, all those things, those aren't guns. They're just accessories, which then gets you into the whole argument of why the whole reclassifying frames and receivers thing from the ATF is so dumb and stupid. Because what are you going to do? Just say you can't have metal pieces? This, at the core of it, breaks down the entire ethos of the gun control movement and all the moves they're making. On the surface level, this is going to set gun controllers' hair afire because this is reality striking virtue signaling dreams in the face. Let's continue. The industry, again, millions of dollars. The industry relies on contracts with public agencies at the local, state, and federal levels and is subsidized by tax dollars and charitable donations that pay for buybacks. Governments arguably could be seen as complicit in bad outcomes. If a recycled assault weapon from Flint, for example, was later used in a deadly shooting. Again, not the gun, it's the accessories, but they can't track them, and we're about to walk you through this whole quagmire, because the can of worms is now on the ground, and this is hilarious. But it would be difficult to know that the salvage gun parts typically would not include a serial number that could be traced. Now, you could look at this one or two ways. They could either be saying we need to serialize every single part as kind of a backdoor say, look, we have a problem, we got to serialize everything. Or they could just say we can't serialize everything because the only part of the gun is the actual gun itself, which is the frame of the receiver, and the parts aren't, so now we've got a problem, gun controllers. Either way, it's still funny. But announcement, big news, people. We have a new loophole. Hold on. We have a new loophole. This is a really big deal. Check this out. The little-known but profitable corner of the firearms economy exists because the approved method for destroying a gun contains a loophole that has been exploited. We're going to brand it here before they do, people. We're going to get in front of them. This is called the gun buyback loophole. Striking corners everywhere. Destroying gun control dreams at the root. The gun buyback loophole. That's what we're going to do. Now, here's what they're complaining about at the New York Times. To be able to say a gun is destroyed, disposal companies crush or cut up a single piece that federal law classifies as a firearm. The receiver of frame that anchors the other components and contains the serial number. The businesses can then sell the remaining parts as a kit, Barrel, trigger, grip, slide, stock, springs, essentially the entire gun minus the regulated piece. So the pieces of metal that have been formed to be an accessory to the actual gun because you destroyed the frame or receiver, you're opening up the can of worms to understand and explain to all the gun controllers nationally that the parts of the gun are not the gun themselves, which is why ideas of bump stocks, which is the idea of trigger mechanisms, all of that you're going after is so pointless because there is no law against accessories. That's the whole big, dark, dirty secret. They're having to tell the gun controllers that the gun is actually a frame or receiver while still saying, but the accessories could go somewhere, but they're not serialized. So what's the next push? We got to serialize every single accessory forever and ever in perpetuity because of the gun buyback loophole? I'm not going to put it past them. One more thing for you, and then we'll go about our day. The companies, for their part, say that if public officials want the whole gun destroyed, they must pay for it. Wow, economics. Because it costs money to destroy it, so you're going to have to reimburse them. So 98% of the company or the governments are electing not to pay the fee to destroy them, allowing them to recoup their costs by selling the parts. Just keep going. Quote, our services are free for law enforcement agencies, said Scott Reed, president of Gunbusters. Gunbusters. If we can't cover our costs by selling parts, then we charge them. Only about 2% of Gunbusters clients pay to have the full firearm destroyed, he said. Federal agencies, including the Secret Service, are among them. 98% of gun buybacks are going through a teardown and reselling of accessories while the frame or receiver, which cost $100, is sold out. Is destroyed out while everything else is sold out. If this does not make you smile ear to ear and show you that the entire gun buyback thing is a sham, scam, I don't know what is. Let me know what you guys think on this one, and I will see you on the next one. I'm Braden. See you later.